Have you ever seen that video of a train pulling into a station, one in a series of the first screened movies in 1896, which supposedly led early moviegoers into a panic, thinking that the train was going to come out of the screen and take them to a station that they didn't want to go to? It's probably just an urban legend, maybe people got scared at most, but the fact that it's widely believed just shows how eager we are to accept that viewers are idiots. Filmmakers have to use certain tools and tricks just to prevent confusion and make watching easier. Here are 5 that I thought of that most people probably only notice when they're not used, and sad as it is, that's probably the sign of a good, but not phenomenal, director of photography or cinematographer. Much like with the train story, early movies were very flawed at telling stories that weren't essentially stage plays with the ability to edit film. When the medium evolved, viewers' ability to comprehend what was going on did not. If characters needed to travel from one place to another, a simple transition would not do. How did these people get there? They were just at the first place. Did they teleport? Are they wizards? Filmmakers realized that people are idiots, and in between the 2 scenes they'd show a clip of car wheels moving. Ironically, I can't find the video where they talked about this, so here's some other videos with wheels. They didn't need to show the whole car. They didn't need to show the people in the car. In fact, it was probably some of the first stock footage that got reused in about every movie where people traveled between locations in a car over the course of about 20 years or so. That's a lot of movies. But it didn't stop there as far as fast travel wheel got phased out. Characters still get in their cars, or they say that they'll meet the other character at the other location and get out of their cars when they arrive. Sometimes it'll cut to a different story thread, and that will fill the passage of time. Even wizards do it when they're on the big screen. I'm going to be using a lot of Harry Potter examples because there's an example of almost every trick in my 5-item list. For example, the flue system. I don't think it's shown as often in the movies, but it starts by stepping into the fireplace, throwing the powder in, speaking of the name of the place you want to go to, and coming out of the other end, whether it's where you're meant to be or not. Even when they literally teleport out of nowhere, the movies added a bit of fog-like stuff so you can see the person coming, almost like they're landing a plane, while in the books they just come out of thin air, much to Fred and George's amusement. The second tool is not so different from the first, to show the passage of time, movement between locations, and most importantly, to set the stage using aerial shots of the city or landscape where the next scene is going to take place. While this is similar to the first tool, there's a lot more you can do with it. You can show day speeding up into night, zoom from the skyline into a specific building, and so on. It's less to show that something is happening and more of what is happening. This allows for ways to transition that are only limited by the setting of the movie or show, or games in many cases, and the imagination of its creators.
Some will set shortly.
I spoke in my video about Black Swan's cinematography about something called the 180-degree rule. In that video, I showed that, like most rules that aren't natural laws, they are meant to be broken. Since I already covered that, I'll use Lord of the Rings as an example. The 180-degree rule says that the camera should never cross an imaginary line, 180 degrees being the angle of a straight line, half of a circle. Imagine that line is the screen, and the camera should all be on one side and the scenery should be on the other. This is why sitcoms can film in front of an audience instead of using laugh tracks. Though why they would want to do either is a mystery. That wasn't funny! Anyway, you can switch between as many cameras as you want, as long as you don't cross that line. But what happens when you do? Well, it's really disorienting. I thought that character was over there. Why is this guy looking in the wrong direction? Did they switch places while the camera was zooming in from the skyline? No, someone just broke the rule. Now, as I said before, you can use it to great effect if you understand it correctly, like Gollum's in your conflict scene in Lord of the Rings. He never moves, but the camera does most of the work. He faces one way and is good, monologues a bit, then faces the other way and is evil, then has a counter for his previous monologue. This repeats a bit. While this does not seem like it's breaking the 180-degree rule, the line is actually his line of sight if he were to face straight forward. By using this method, both his sides are shown as separate personalities and the scene has a disorienting feel to it. as if we were part of his inner conflict along with him, and that's what the scene is really about. Next, don't show text unless it's easily visible with a huge font. Definitely no huge papers that would take a minute of screen time to read, and if you do, have a character read it as a voiceover, especially if the character who wrote it is dead or is hiding off screen somewhere. This gets rid of a hard-to-read wall of text and replaces it with the most crucial part of production: acting.
Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you. Use it well.
Characters can portray the emotions that are supposed to be conveyed in whatever's written, or if it's something less dramatic, they could just tell the other characters the update on the mission, the response from their allies, or whatever the case may be. Just the gist of the note. One show that really showcased how much this doesn't get used is Sherlock, where text would appear in midair with plenty of time for you to read it without holding back the pace of the show. It's surprising how rare devices like that are used. If you can think of any others, leave a comment. That was something I really liked about that show. Finally, number 5, lighting and color correction. If you've ever tried to film your own anything, tried to take a flatterer picture, or oh god, use a green screen, you know that you did a bad job at it unless you have at least professional 3-point lighting. Going back to the Gollum scene and Harry Potter, they use lighting and color correction. I'm mostly focusing on color correction here. The color of a scene changes its mood. In Harry Potter, there are a lot of scenes that are really heavily toned into green or blue when something bad is happening, and when there's something wondrous or fantastic, in all senses of those words, the color is bright and gold. Imagine if those colors were switched. Dark green in the Great Hall, and warm yellow in the Chamber of Secrets? Preposterous! These were just 5 tools I noticed on my own. Maybe I'll figure out enough dumb viewer tricks to make a second video, but who knows? If there's anything that you can think of, leave a comment and I'll get to feel like an idiot while learning something. Hit like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.